Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 800 West 1st Street, unit number 7 here in Newburgh. We're located on the right side of the home. About halfway back, we have a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We'll have water running here in just a moment once we get the camera inserted into the line. And we're going to zero out the camera counter right here at the base of the cleanout. That little guy right there, that little stringy item, that is not a root, that's something that fell down the cleanout here when we opened it up. Anyway, here we go. And right off the bat, we do have some standing water here. I don't have water running quite yet. If that's all it is, though, we'll run water down the line, make sure that none of that water has evaporated as the house has been sitting vacant. But as it sits right there, that's not a concerning amount of standing water. Usually it takes at least, in my experience, at least 5 feet of pipe with at least an inch of standing water to actually catch anything coming down the line. And we have a tie in there. That's more than likely just a test tee. I don't know if they have any of these homes partied up here in this neighborhood. And it just transitioned there over to 3034 PVC pipe. Another spot here with some standing water. We'll assess all these areas here on the way out. And that could have been just due to that toilet paper sitting in the middle of the line. This belly here is a bit more significant. You can see how much debris has collected in the line here. And we'll definitely be taking a look at that on the way out there. That's the spot where I'll, very good chance we'll recommend a repair. But you can see the difference between those first couple little minor bellies and that. Just the amount of debris buildup difference is significant. Now, that depth of the water has a lot to do with it. You can have a pretty long section of pipe with a very minimal amount of standing water that really won't affect anything. But once you hit that right around that inch mark, that's where you start to see a lot of stuff collect in the line. Now, right there was probably a secondary clean out. And the last home I scoped in this neighborhood here went to a pump system, and that's what we have right here at 84 feet. At least I think it is. I'm not entirely sure if it's a pump system or if it's just some other type of main lateral setup, but this really looks like a pump setup here to me. It's a very, if it were a main lateral, it'd be a very unusual design, but this is just how that neighborhood is set up. We're going to let the line drain out completely here. Before reeling back, I'm going to go locate to verify where the camera head terminates, or the line terminates. Alright, we're still waiting for the line to drain out here, but I did go locate the camera head. So if you, in the diagram on the report will make a little bit more sense, but the line comes out the right side of this house, heads up towards the parking lot area, makes a turn and heads up to the right, one home to the right of this house. And there's a little bark dust island out in the parking lot area. That's where I believe this is a pump is situated at. Just went located over there. Alright, the line's all drained out, and I just talked to the realtor here, and it sounds like these are actually on it's a shared septic system, apparently. Kind of a unique setup here. You don't see that very often. Now you can see here the line leads up to that terminus, how thick that junk that's built up on the line there is. I'm going to reel it back here just a little bit. See where this standing water starts at here. Now this spot out here, let me go back to this real quick. The standing water at this particular spot starts here at around 81 feet roughly. Getting into the middle of this belly here, we've got less than a quarter inch of standing water. I mean, it's closer to around a 1/16 of an inch. I think that this particular spot here, it may just be because it's the end of the line. That's a very minimal amount of standing water, although there is a significant amount of grease buildup. None of that stuff would even be there if you were just putting regular old toilet paper down the line. The only reason you want these to be actually worth spending thousands and thousands of dollars to tear up the concrete and do all that. And it's possible this may be an HOA maintained deal in here in this type of neighborhood. It's kind of hard to say. But that spot there, I would recommend jetting the line to clean that out rather than tearing up the concrete to fix that. It's just a very rinky-dink little belly. I think what had happened originally, and there may be some more significant bellies on the way back in here, but more than likely a whole bunch of grease and toilet paper and stuff ended up right in the flow line there and kind of dammed things up while we pushed the camera through. Now this spot here though, we drop right into an inch of standing water. This is a spot here that concerns me, and if you get something like this corrected, all those little tiny bellies throughout the line, they will not be a significant issue at all anymore because you've improved the flow so much. But this particular spot here is one that concerns me. We'll reel back to the beginning of it here. You can see how thick that water is with debris. And when we first went through it, there was quite a lot of stuff in and amongst that. Anyway, I think more than anything that grease buildup at the end of the line is because everything has struggled so much to get through this particular spot that by the time it makes it out to that end little, it's only about a 3 or 4 foot belly with less than a quarter inch. It's about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe slightly more water. But by the time it makes it out there, this belly's slowed it down so stinking much that it has a hard time getting anywhere. And if you're not putting grease down the line, basically all we're seeing in here, it looks like for the most part, is grease. If you're not putting that down the line, those other spots we've been through will not have anything stuck in them. Now this belly starts here at about 41.5 feet. And it extends out here to about 48 feet. It's about a 7-8 foot section of the line here. That, and you've got a couple turns there. Turns on their own will slow debris down as it moves through the line. You put standing water in amongst it, and you can end up with a lot of stuff building up the line. The concern is you get enough buildup in there that, one day you flush a wad of toilet paper down the line, and it just sticks and clogs the line. Okay, located the camera head here, marked with a white X. We're in the parking lot area, right in the kind of the far right parking spot, right in front of the house here, up close to Little Bark Dust Island. We're at 4 feet 1 inches deep. We're going to reel back here to the beginning. Alright, we're at 4 foot 1 inches deep. There's going to be a white X at each end of the repair, and with some white dots in between, just kind of showing how the pipe's configured. Our belly starts here. We got to bring it back to the point where there's no water at all. Out here at about 41 feet. 41 feet to 48 feet I recommend repairing. And right here at the beginning of the belly, we're about 3 feet 6, 3 feet 7 inches deep here. Based on those depth changes there, it looks like there's room to grade the line. I think it just, more than likely in this situation, it's settled. It's not, sometimes you get a bad install or something like that, but that looks, not that that's what should have happened to it, but it looks like it's settled. Sometimes you just don't have the room to grade the line properly. In this circumstance, it looks like there's probably enough room to grade it. You'd have to talk to the repair guys about that, obviously. But at the beginning of the belly, we're at 3 feet 6. At the end of the belly, around 4 foot 1 inches. And on top of the repair there, I highly recommend a Hydrojet to get the line cleaned out. Again, this is another one of the bellies that we've seen here in the line. Very, very minimal. We're about a 1/16 of an inch of standing water there. And you can see how clean this particular spot is. We've got a little tiny bit of grease on the sidewalls, but nothing significant. Out further, though, after everything's tried to travel through all that standing water there, out the end of the line, there's a fair amount of grease buildup. At another very similar belly that's only about 3-4 feet long with a 1/16 of an inch of standing water. I'd recommend getting the line jetted out. And if you don't do repair, definitely make sure that the jet's done. That will help keep any further debris buildup. It will lessen it. Anyway. Another spot here, another little belly. It's not ideal to have these throughout the line, but you can see these houses have been here for a while, almost 10, 11 years. If this were causing consistent flow issues, you'd see a lot of junk collected here in the line, and there's hardly any of that. Another little spot there with just over a 1/16 of an inch. This is getting closer to 1/4 of an inch. But in total here, this little belly is only about 2.5 feet long. It's very, very minor. Not, it would be ideal to have the whole line looking perfect, but at this point, now that it's been buried in the ground, I think the one that should be repaired, or I would recommend repairing, is the one that's out in the driveway area. All the others, there's, I believe, 4 bellies in total, 3 of which are very, very minor. One of them is fairly significant, so I'd get that one corrected. Once you have a decent flow back in the line, everything will be shooting through the line here with very little issue at all. You want to make sure that you're not putting any grease down the line. The only things that should be going down the pipe in general are folded toilet paper down the toilet. You can put food down the disposal, but you really need to avoid any grease or fats or anything like that. And at this point, that's really all I'm seeing collecting in the sewer line. That spot out there with an inch of standing water, that is where I typically start to see toilet paper collecting the line, not just things that shouldn't be going down the line. That's why I recommend repairing that one. All the others are very insignificant in my opinion, and just not worth dealing with. But I do recommend a Hydrojet as well as a repair, clean the line and fix that belly. And I would do the jet probably after the repair is done. You're going to have the best chance of getting it all cleaned out properly when you don't have that belly sitting there in the middle of the line. And then I recommend a rescope after any repair work is done, as well as the Hydrojet to make sure the line's been cleaned properly and the repair was done correctly. A lot of these bellies happen at the time of installation, so you want to make sure that it looks good. There's a lot of lines that get repaired and they end up with bellies again for a myriad of different reasons, so it is worth double checking everything.